Welcome back to Qtronics. Today is the day where I finally fix this Nintendo Switch Lite. Now, if this is the first you've seen on my channel, this Nintendo Switch Lite is going to be given away at the end of January. So if you're watching that video before the end of January 2025, go and check out my other video explaining how to enter, as I'm going to basically change the two Joy-Cons in this and install a mod chip, and then I'm giving it away anywhere in the world. So go and check out the other video and it'll tell you how to enter. Right, I'm going to get this opened up and I'll be back with you in a second when it's on the desk. See you in a second. Right then, I've opened the back up and as you can see we're in now. It's a little bit dirty, but that's what you expect with this kind of console. So the next job is, let's get the heat shield off. And then we'll work on changing this Joy-Con here first, as this board here is not connected to the rest once these little ribbons are popped off. But I might as well get the heat shield off while I'm here anyway, so it's going to have to come off later on. So let's get to it. So there should just be a few screws round about here. Alright, so we're just getting these screws off for the heat shield now then. Okay, heat shield, well, RF shield is off. Right then, let's get this battery taken out, which requires this ribbon popping out first, and then we can pop the battery out. And we'll have a look, make sure there's no water damage anywhere. Okay, cool, that's that done. Now we'll move down here to these ribbons. So this is the ribbon that attaches this right board back to the main board. This is the touchscreen ribbon here, I believe. And this is the power button ribbon. Sorry, that one there is the backlight. And this one here is the power board. So that just literally attaches up here for this part, which we can pop out over here for now. Right then, down here we've got the actual Joy-Con connection there. So let's pop that up. As we're changing this ribbon, this is the one that we can actually rip and not care about. Right, now we've got to take a few more screws off. We can leave this on, I believe. We just need to take off this one screw down here, which is, you'll see it's a funny different colour. It's a golden looking screw. So if we pop that, which I hope would be magnetic, but it decided it would not be. And then there's one here as well. And there's one here. And one here. And the two here holding the triggers on. And as you see, that just popped off. Right, and then this board now should just pop up if I remember right. Oh no, sorry, there's a screw down here we need to take off as well. This one here. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Oh no, we didn't need to take that one off. That's just me being silly. Ah, we do need to take the speaker off, sorry. There's a screw just underneath here. Might be able to get to it if I'm just moving that. There we go. We don't want to disconnect the speaker if we don't have to. There's no real need for it. So, plus they're really finicky to get off. So there we go. That's that board out. And then the bottom side of this board. It looks very clean, luckily, so that's good. It looks very clean, so we've got to worry about that. And here's the Joy-Con, 2 screws. And that is out. And then we can just lift this Joy-Con out. There is a little grommet on it, so you don't want to damage that if you can help it. And there's that Joy-Con gone. And we bring across our replacements, which, as you can see, if I show you two side by side, you'll see. So this is the new one, and this is the old one. They're very, very, very similar. This one even looks shiny and horrible, so that's good. So just push it back through the grommet, and then we can just screw that back down. Nice and simple. That Joy-Con is really easy to do away with. Right, and then we can just reassemble that board, and that board is good to go then. Now when you put this back, make sure you lift this one up. You don't want it stuck under the board, and you don't want this one stuck under the board as well. It's a little bit finicky, but you'll get the hang of it after a few tries. There we go, and then just give this a test click. Make sure you select click, and make sure you've trapped none of the ribbons, and then you are good to go. And then we can just start reassembling. And then the final gold screw goes back into here. And the other 2 gold screws we've got left are for the ribbons. For the ZR button, sorry. And we might as well put our power board back in. There's a nice little groove it sits in. So if you slide it in, it'll clip into place normally. And this wire, it's got a nice little channel for it to run down. There we go, and then it just pops back into there. He says. This is probably the hardest one to go in. Okay. So there we go. There's one Joy-Con change now. And now to get to the other one, you have to take the whole board apart. But seeing as we need to now mod it anyway, we might as well do it at the same time. So let's get down to where we get to the mods. So with this one, first thing first we want to do is pop all the ribbon cables that we can get to. So let's pop the 2 Wi-Fi antennas. Okay, Wi-Fi antennas are off. Now next thing we need to do is get over here. As you can see, this is so dry anyway, so we'll put some new thermal paste back on that. Let me get some stuff to clean it off with. Now, if you drop a few bits of IPA on that foam, you're less likely to rip it in a second as the adhesive weakens. So give that a second. And then we should, if we undo these 3 screws this side first. Okay, now we should be able to lift this up a little bit. And hopefully just get under here and stop the foam from ripping as much as possible. It did rip a little bit, but not that much, so that's okay. So then next, these 7 screws on this game cart reader. So let's get those out. Pop this up here. And the game card reader should just slot out nice and easy. Then we'll do the fan. So there's 3 black screws on the fan. And then the fan connector cable's right there. Be careful on this one because the fans are really easy to rip. I've never done it, but I've had a friend bring theirs to me ripped, so when they've tried to take it out, so it can happen. There we go. And then we just have to go around now and take all the screws out, unfortunately. So let's get this top button off first. Oh, and then we've got a ribbon cable here, which is the screen. Ribbon cable here, which is the backlight of the screen, the touch part of the screen. So these are the ones you don't want to damage, else you've messed your screen up. I mean, this one doesn't look like it's already been pressed down, which doesn't help, which doesn't make me feel happy about this. Okay, those ribbons are out. Joy-Con on the right-hand side, technically. It's on the left of your screen, which is here. Again, as we're changing it, doesn't matter if we rip that, but we try not to. I think that's all the screws. So I believe now we can just pop this out. If we look at the board, there's no water damage on this at all, which is really good news. So let's get this Joy-Con out and swap a new one in. So again, for the Joy-Con, 2 screws, nice and simple. And then I have my replacement red one here. So new one on the right. Oh, this is the new one here in this part, as that might actually be the left for you because it records backwards, I believe. And this is the old one here, as you can see, rubbish. Okay, that's done. Now, while I've got the board out, I'm just going to just solder it with the board off. With this, I can normally leave it in the board and it's fine. But I need to actually add some rubber things to it, so let's just leave it off and we'll get over to the scope. I'm just going to take this speaker off just to make it a little bit easier for us. The trick I have for getting these off is if you dig a tweezer into it, you can normally spot where the holes are and it'll just pop out. Nice and simple. Else they get a bit finicky and I hate them. Right then, let's get the scope out, so I'll catch you in a second. So the next thing we need to do is we need to get these. We need to get into these clips. So I'm going to clean all this paste off here first, and then we'll get to it. Right, then we're all cleaned off. So let's get these clips opened up. So you want to be really careful with these. You want to get something that's sharp into the hole, and then just pop back. Right, I'm going to do this off screen, so I'll back you in a second, but you see the gist of that. Right then, heat shield's off. Let's clean up the chip. That was actually still really wet, which was nice. And I've opened up quite a few switches and the thermal paste can be a little bit dry. Right, with the Switch Lite, I suggest installing the part on the CPU second, and we install the other part first. So let me get that. So we'll be installing a slightly newer variant of the mod chip today, so that's quite cool for you guys. I've used all my old stock now. So it's basically what used to happen before. This board would sit here and the ribbon would come up and over the top, whereas the new one, the ribbon actually comes underneath instead. So that'll be quite cool for you to see. So this is what I mean. This is the part we need to install first with the Switch Lite. It makes it a hell of a lot easier. So this ribbon cable here, I'm showing on the other camera band, sits here like this. So if we install the other one first, normally it gets in the way. With the new one, it doesn't matter, but we're going to install this one first anyway, just because it's the harder cable. So, right, where this sits is, we have, on this left-hand side here, we have these two ones coming down here. So it's not this one. It sits on that one there. So the first point is there. And then we have CMD, click, and RSTs over here. So let's get those soldered on. So I'm going to start off at 350C. We need some flukes. Now I'm going to put a little bit of flux down here ready, just to make it easier for me. So I think that is actually nearly perfectly in place there. Ha! There you go. If you want to see a perfect alignment, that is it. That is lined up a bit too beautifully. Come up over here. Okay, there's a little bit of wiggle room. Let's get this part soldered in first. While they look pretty much bang on. I'll clean that up in a second. Let me just tack the rest in. My iron decided not to have the solder stick as nice as I wanted it to. Wow. That there is a burn mark. Isn't great on the plastic. Hopefully it's not gone through. Normally, I've not had these ribbons do that to me before, so that's something new. Obviously, everyone that you buy is slightly different when it comes to these things offline, so as you can imagine. And it's just make sure there's no cuts there. We will get the voltmeter out in a minute and have a little look. But those all look good to me. We will test that in a minute. Right, let's get B sorted. So yeah, this one obviously, I'm going to say it's a bit like cheese there, for lack of a better word. We got grounds on, and then we just have this point here is just to hold it in place. So let's get that on. I'm trying a bit of a different tip, guys, hence why you can see it's a bit. It's not my normal attempt here, so I'm just trying out this new tip, see if the angle is better. At the moment, I can tell you, no, I'm not liking it. So. Let's swap this around a little bit just to tidy up. I think just the angle of it. That's better. Yeah, much better. Oh, that's loads better now. Right, let's clean that up and just double check that's okay. And then I will change the tip for the CPU because I'm not happy with that tip at all. Okay, let's just get the voltmeter out and check these points before I carry on. So I'm going to put this into diode mode, which is this one down here. So we're looking for about 0.6 to 0.8 with the red on ground, I believe. So let's go over here first. Oops, sorry, I got the wrong way around. So 0.64, 7, 0.7, B, I believe B doesn't. B is a resistance one, and this one up here should be connected as well. 0.9. 0.887. Cool, we're all good. So yeah, they're all good. We're going to check sure we've got nothing linked to ground. Make sure nothing's shorted here. No, we're good. I believe that should be connected to there. There we go then, that's good. Right, let's get on to the CPU parts. And I'm going to swap out my tip because that tip was not good. Right, so first things first, we need to clean off the rest of the First things first, we need to clean off the rest of the thermal paste off this CPU. So I'm going to put a couple of spots of IPA on it and go from there when I find my IPA. We just want as much thermal paste off these when we start as possible because we don't want the heat to spread from one cap to another. And obviously, thermal paste is designed to make heat spread around. That's its literal goal. Move the heat around the chip to where it needs to go. Perfect. So then, as mentioned, we've got a new ribbon cable for this one. So this one actually slides underneath here and comes over the RAM chips. Like so. If I can get my little fingers on it. By little I mean fat fingers. There we go. And then we need these to line up on the right points. So that one there, and then there should, for this side, there should be another one hidden in this hole. There we go. So as long as you've got one in that hole there and then one either side, you are safe. Let me just get this lined up properly off camera a second. Just, it's been a bit finicky than I want it to be. There we go. So yeah, the new ribbon's just a little bit, personally for me, it feels just a little bit more fidgety, for lack of a better word. There we go. Right, so bit of flux either side here. Now with these parts, you want to be careful because you don't want to put too much heat on them. If you knock the caps off, we're in a world of pain putting caps back on. It's doable to put them back on, but it's just a pain. No, it does look good. Let's just test it with the voltmeter to confirm. So now we want to be with this one in, let's turn my iron off a second. We want this one in resistance mode, which is this symbol down here. Black on ground, and we want red on one side should be 0, and the other side should be around 10. So I'm getting 0 that side. So this side should be 14, perfect, that's fine, 14 to 20. I think it's 10 and 20. Basically, you want a good amount of resistance there. So this side should also be 14, which it is, and then this side should be 0, which it is. Just pressing this down, make sure it's right. I am going to solder on the bottom parts again because the ribbon comes out the side now. I feel like there might be a little bit more stress on it than there normally is. So I'm going to solder the 2 tabs down here just to hold it in place. So for this, you want a slightly thicker tip just because heat transfer. So let's do that. They do look soldered on now. Cool. Let's clean it up and go from there. Yep, they are. We're good. Right, let's clean this all up then. Right then, I'm going to turn the scope off now and we'll start getting it back together. Right, so board back in is just the reverse process. It's a bit tedious and annoying, but let's get it sorted. The idea is you just want to make sure nothing is trapped beneath it. So these tabs, for example, need to be on top. That Joy-Con arm there needs to be on top. And obviously you don't want to forget the speaker. Now normally you can slot this in while the board is a bit loose. So it's not so much of a pain. There we go. we need a sliver of Captain tape over those CPU pins, just so nothing presses down onto them. That's it. And then to clean this off, get some more thermal paste on it. Now, as this one's going back on like here, we need to bend this bit of heat shield down just so we don't trap any of this. So just remember to bend that down. Remember not to pin this bit of cable under that shield as well. There we go. And then we should be able to put it back just together enough to test if it's working and if I've broke the console or not. So let's do that. So front screen's in. We don't need the game cartridge reader in for this, like we do in a Switch V2 or V1, as those ones have the backlight is on the card reader, which is very weird, really. So I believe now, other than the board itself, we are good to go. Okay, the board's in. Then I believe we can now give it a test. So let's plug the power in. Plug the daughter board in so we can actually press the power button. And let's press the power button. Did I press that in? I'm not sure I pressed it. Let me just double check I've got everything in place that needs to be. Let me plug it in. Let me plug it into charge in case I've left this switch turned on and it's got no charge, because everything here should be fine. Wouldn't be a Q-Dad's video without me fucking something up there. Wouldn't be a Q-Tronics video without me fucking something up, I should say. Hang on, I think the power board's not plugged in properly. So let me just sort that out. I think over here it's not plugged in properly. Let's try this again now, but if not, I have fucked the switch up. Ah, I can hear the screen on there. which is very strange actually. Yep, the screen is on for some reason. So, what's happened there? I did say that cable looked like it had been bashed a little bit. I believe the backlight is over here though, so let's just double check this. Make sure this is seated properly. I mean, I would have expected our mod chip to work though. But saying that, I'm not sure there's... I'll have to look at that in a second. I'll test the mod chip in a second. Wow, classic. Something going wrong is nice, isn't it? The good news is the switch isn't dead, it's just playing up. Which obviously isn't good news. Okay, so our switch is turning on, which is good news. It's not happy with that cable though. Yeah, one of those cables are not seated right. More importantly, our board didn't seem to want to turn on there. Right, I'm gonna try and flash this, and I'll get back to you. Give me a. I'll jump back on when it's sorted. I'm gonna try and reflash this board just in case it's not come flashed. Right, I'll catch you in a sec. So the good news is, guys, I'm not an idiot and I've not broken the switch. The backlight is playing up a little bit. I just think that's just how the wire's bent. So once I screw it all back down and get the wire in, that should be fine. Basically, what happens is whoever sold me this board sold it on 2 points wrong. So I'm on the beepy beeps here. This should be the B point, and the B point's down here. Whereas actually, it's connected to the 3.3 line, and then the 3.3 line is connected to B. So what's happened there is someone has come in and put the wrong bloody thing in. So I'm going to have to solder some wires to it. So it's going to take a little bit longer, so I'm sorry. So by the time you see this, guys, like, it won't matter for you. It'll all be done. But yeah, fucking annoying. Right, I'm back. I did some digging. Whoever sold me these chips can suck a dick. Right, off camera, I had to go and do some Frankensteining. So I put some fucking cables in there. It works. Let's show you it working, because honestly, it was a fucking joke that someone done that. Anyway, so let's press power button. Chip lights up. It's gone that already. You can see the screen's on, and boom. No SD card. Fucking done. Anyway, as you can guess, I'm a bit pissed off with that. So I'm going to get it all back together. And then, obviously, we'll just go for that final result. But fucking hell, as that took the piss. Whoever gets this, guys, it's blood, sweat and tears. It's taken me so long because of that bloody fucking board. Also, I went and messed with the backlight, hence why it's working now. It was just a bit loose. I think the cable was a bit bent, I don't know. But anyway, it's fucking working, so have joy in that and know that it's working. So yeah, there you go. Right, you've seen me take it all apart. You've seen a switch being taken apart many times. I'll get it all back together and I'll see you at the end. Catch you in a minute. Right then, guys, I am back. It is done. I am sorry this has taken so long if you've been watching this video. But just to prove it's working, oh, there it is. No SD card. Absolutely fucking fantastic. So I'm so pleased, guys. I've tested all the buttons. It all seems to work. I will, you know what? I'll throw it up and show you now that it works. Let's boot into normal mode. Obviously, it's not the cleanest install I've ever done in my life, but it's what I had to do. That chip has absolutely bummed me over. I need to go and buy some more now because obviously I'm annoyed. Right. Let's go down 2 controllers. Calibrate control sticks. That one's fine. Right stick. Perfect. Test input device. Test control buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. There we go. If we end that. Test the touchscreen. Whee! There we go. No problems there. So, there you go, guys. I will just test one more thing. If I can find a game cartridge. I think I've got one in here somewhere. There we go. We'll test Pokemon Pikachu edition. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Obviously, I'll format this all up, ready for the next person to get it. But let's just double check that is the case. I will cry if this doesn't work now, just to clarify. Oh. Well, isn't that annoying? Well, I'll have to open it back up and have a look why that's not working, but that is a fucking joke after all that. I'll get it working, guys. Even if not, it's a modded Switch, so I imagine what most of you are going to do with that is not what game card reader needs anyway. So I'll end it there. Obviously, I'll get that back bit fixed and we'll carry on. Right, guys, thank you for joining me for this. Obviously, it's been a bit of a messed up video, but the key here is I'm giving away this Switch for free. So look out for the video. If you're joining this well after January 2025, it's probably already been given away. But you can check out the video anyway to see who won it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this and you want to see me fuck up more things. Anyway, I'll catch you next time. See ya.